All right, let's dive in today and talk about something, well, really cool.
Definitely cool.
I mean, who doesn't love a good car chase, right?
Absolutely.
And we're talking about one of the all-time greats, the chase from Bullitt.
Oh, yeah, the one and only.
I mean, Steve McQueen, San Francisco, those hills.
Isn't that Mustang?
That green Mustang, just, I don't know, it's iconic.
It really is.
But we're going to do more than just, like, relive the chase. We want to look under the hood, so to speak.
Wait, like the under the hood.
The car itself, what was going on behind the scenes, all those little details that even hardcore Bullitt fans might not know.
Exactly. There's so much more to it than just screeching tires and tire smoke.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's start with the star of the show. What exactly was this Mustang that McQueen was driving?
Well, it wasn't some fancy custom-built supercar, that's for sure.
Really?
It was a modified 1968 Ford Mustang GT390 Fastback. So basically, it was a souped-up version of what you could have actually, like, found at a dealership back then.
Oh, wow. That makes it even cooler.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. So break it down for us. What made this car special?
All right, picture this. Highland green paint job, black vinyl interior, you know, that classic muscle car look.
Okay, yeah, I'm picturing it.
Under the hood, you had a 6.4-liter V8 engine paired with a 4-speed manual transmission.
Oh, man, I can almost hear that rumble.
Right, just that sound alone would turn heads. But this Mustang wasn't just about looks, it had serious muscle. And they knew this car was going to take a beating during filming.
So they did some work on it.
They did. They brought in this guy, Max Balchowski, stuntman, race car builder, legend. He knew how to make cars that could handle anything.
I see. So what did he do to this Mustang?
Gave it the full treatment, reinforced the shock absorbers, threw on some high-performance tires, upgraded the battery to a heavy-duty one, you know, all the stuff to make it tough.
It's like they turned it into a tank, but a really, really cool-looking tank.
Exactly.
And I got to imagine McQueen had some say in all this, right?
Huh?
He was a total gearhead.
Oh, absolutely. McQueen was very hands-on. In fact, he insisted on doing a lot of his own driving in the film.
No way.
Which was pretty rare for a big star back then. But he wanted to make it authentic.
That's so cool.
It really comes through on screen, too. The way he handles that car is just so smooth, so natural.
I bet. So it wasn't just about the stunts. It was about how he drove the car, the whole feel of it.
Exactly. He even shaped his character, Frank Bullitt, to reflect that. He wanted Bullitt to be more grounded, more of a regular guy, you know, not some over-the-top action hero.
Yeah, that makes sense. He's like the ultimate cool, calm, collected guy.
Exactly. And that totally comes through in the way he drives that Mustang.
It's part of what makes the whole chase so captivating. Even after all these years, it's not just flashy, it's real.
It's raw. Like you're right there with him.
And the filmmakers knew that, right? They didn't go crazy with special effects. They just let the chase, the cars, the city, they let it all speak for itself.
Exactly. They used handheld cameras, put cameras inside the cars. It's almost documentary style at times. You feel every bump, every gear change.
Makes you wonder if they knew they were making something so, I don't know, timeless.
It's funny how that works, isn't it?
It really is. But all right, we got to talk about some of those little details, those fun facts that make the Bullitt chase so legendary. First up, is it true that McQueen never downshifted during the entire chase?
It's true. 16 upshifts, not a single downshift, just pure driving skill.
That is wild.
Okay.
Next one, the Charger hubcaps.
Oh, yeah. You know the black Dodge Charger that Bullitt's chasing?
It seems to lose more hubcaps than it even has wheels.
Right. Total continuity error.
But it just adds to the whole, you know, the energy of the chase. It's like those hubcaps are flying off in terror.
I love that detail. And speaking of details, have you noticed that? Well, even before the big chase starts, the Mustang already has a dent on the right side.
Wait, really?
Yep, like a little foreshadowing. This car's been through some stuff.
Oh, that's a good catch. It's like those little details, they just add so much depth.
Exactly. And there's a whole other layer of depth when it comes to what happened to that Mustang after filming.
Okay, this is where it gets really interesting. I mean, what happened to this iconic car?
Well, get this. It was sold to a Warner Bros. Crew member for $6,000.
$6,000? You're kidding.
Nope. Can you imagine owning a piece of movie history for that price?
No, I can't. That's crazy. Wait, didn't McQueen try to buy it back at some point?
He did. Tried to buy it back from the crew member, but the offer was rejected.
Oh, man. I can't even imagine.
The crew member's family, they ended up using it as their regular car for years, just driving it around totally unaware of what they had.
Wow. Talk about an under-the-radar classic.
Hmm.
So how did this legendary Mustang finally come back into the spotlight?
It resurfaced in 2018, tucked away in a garage. And when it went up for auction, it sold for, all right, you ready for this? $3.74 million.
No way. From family car to multi-million-dollar collector's item. That's a Hollywood ending right there.
Isn't it?
It just shows you. Sometimes the most legendary things are hidden in plain sight.
And that's not all. This car's story, this chase, it's had a huge impact beyond just the film itself.
Oh, absolutely. It's like Bullitt changed the way car chases were filmed, how we even think about them. It's got a whole legacy.
It does, and that's what we're going to dig into next.
All right, let's do it.
Buckle up.
So before Bullitt, what were car chases in movies even like?
Oh, man. They were kind of a joke, honestly, like
Yeah.
almost comedic relief.
Really?
Yeah, cars bouncing off each other, like bumper cars.
Oh, yeah.
Exaggerated sound effects, stunts that, like, defied physics.
I could see that. It was more about the spectacle than, being realistic.
Right, but then Bullitt comes along and it just totally changes the game. It's like, bam, here's this raw, gritty, intense chase.
It suddenly felt real. Like you could feel the weight of the cars, the danger.
Exactly, and you realize these guys, they're actually driving.
Right. And it wasn't just the cars, it was how they filmed it, too.
Oh, yeah, the filmmaking was groundbreaking. Peter Yates, the director, and William A. Fraker, the cinematographer, they were like pioneers.
In what way?
They used handheld cameras, tight close-ups. They really put you in the driver's seat.
You feel like you're right there with McQueen, experiencing every turn, every near miss.
Exactly. That immediacy, that's what makes it so powerful. It's like you're holding on for dear life.
And speaking of holding on, we got to talk about the setting. San Francisco. Those hills.
Oh, man. San Francisco becomes a character in the chase. Those steep hills, tight corners, those iconic landmarks.
It's like an urban obstacle course.
It is. In McQueen, he's just like threading the needle through it all.
So cool. And there's not a single word spoken during the entire chase. It's all visual, all about the sound of the engines, the tires screeching.
That silence is so important. It just sucks you in, makes you feel the tension, the adrenaline.
It's like a perfectly choreographed dance, but with cars instead of dancers.
That's a great way to put it. And that dance, it's been copied so many times since then.
Oh yeah, like the French Connection, Ronin.
Yep. Even the Fast and Furious movies, they all owe something to Bullitt.
It's wild to think that one chase scene could have that much influence.
It really is. But it wasn't just about the filmmaking, It tapped into something that was happening in culture at the time.
You mean like the whole car culture thing?
Exactly. The muscle car boom was in full swing.
And the Mustang was like the symbol of that.
Absolutely. It represented freedom, rebellion, individuality, and Bullitt, it captured that perfectly.
The car, the chase, it all just became this icon of coolness.
It did. And I think the chase also, tapped into this desire for escape, for living life on your own terms.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
It's like you're watching McQueen and you're thinking, I want to be that guy.
Right. So it's that combination of brilliant filmmaking and cultural relevance that makes the Bullitt chase so enduring.
It's a moment in film history that, transcends time. People are still talking about it, still trying to copy it.
And its influence goes way beyond just Hollywood.
Oh, totally. It's how we see cars, how they're marketed, how car chases are filmed to this day. It's everywhere. So we've got this car chase that ends up influencing filmmaking, car culture, even how we view cities as landscapes for action.
It's amazing, right? And it reminds us that sometimes the most powerful stories are told through action, through visuals, through those raw, visceral experiences.
Like feeling the G-forces as McQueen whips that Mustang around those corners.
Exactly. But let's not forget about that Mustang itself. I mean, it's more than just a car. It's a piece of history, a symbol of an era.
And a testament to how cool classic American muscle cars are.
And the story of this specific Mustang doesn't end when the film credits roll.
Right. The fact that it disappeared for decades, then suddenly reappears as this, priceless collector's item.
It's like the car has its own adventure story, almost as exciting as the chase itself.
And that story, it just adds to the whole mystique of Bullitt. It's a legacy that people are still fascinated by, whether they're filmmakers, car enthusiasts, or just people who appreciate a good story.
And that brings us to another layer of this deep dive. The story behind the making of this chase scene.
It really is amazing, isn't it?
What's that?
How a simple car chase like this could have such a huge impact, on movies and just pop culture in general.
Yeah, it really does show you the power of well-made action.
And visual storytelling, right?
Absolutely, Bullitt is like the textbook
It's
example.
a masterclass
Yeah.
in how to do it.
But it's not just the action itself.
No, it's more than that.
It's about how that action fits into the bigger picture, you know?
Right, the characters, the story, the whole context.
Exactly. The chase in Bullitt isn't just some random action scene thrown in there just for the heck of it.
It's a pivotal moment
Yeah, it tells you something about Bullitt the character.
and moves the plot forward.
It's almost like the chase itself is a form of dialogue, you know?
Oh, I like that.
Yeah,
It's how Bullitt expresses himself.
right.
His determination, his skill, his drive to bring those bad guys down.
Yeah, and it's contrasted so well with the quieter moments in the film.
You know those scenes where Bullitt's just observing, thinking things through?
Yeah, piecing together the puzzle.
It's that balance,
Yeah.
between action and contemplation
Yeah.
that makes Bullitt something special.
More than just an action movie.
Exactly. It's a film that makes you think.
Makes you look beyond the surface.
Appreciate the little things,
The subtleties of the storytelling, the nuances of character.
And it leaves you with this feeling.
What kind of feeling?
It's hard to describe, a sense of awe, I guess.
Yeah.
You've just witnessed something truly amazing.
That's what great filmmaking does.
Totally. It stays with you long after the movie's over.
Makes you want to watch it again and again.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into Bullitt, the car, the chase, the whole legacy,
What's the one thing you want our listeners to remember?
I think it's to pay attention to the details.
Those seemingly insignificant things that can actually make all the difference.
Yeah, like that little dent on the Mustang.
Or a continuity error that ends up being kind of awesome.
Or the way the director uses silence to create tension.
Exactly. Those small choices can end up creating something truly unforgettable.
Well said. And hey, maybe this deep dive will inspire you to go back and watch Bullitt again?
See it with fresh eyes, you know?
Or maybe it'll make you want to check out other classic car chases.
There's a whole world of them out there.
Just waiting to be discovered.
So until next time, keep your eyes on the road.
And your ears open for that sweet sound of a finely tuned engine.
And your mind's ready for another deep dive.